otherwise known as Princess Aspian, and welcome to my channel.
Just be me.
It has been a hot minute since I filmed a YouTube video. I've missed it so much. I've missed you guys so much. Hi, how are you? How are you doing? How are your lives? I missed you. First of all, before we get started, let's get my little outfit of the day out of the way. It's my little shirt of the day. It says neurodiversity is natural, and it is from Indie Renegade. It's got these little flowers on it. It is so cute. I love it. Anyway, let's get on to the video. If you're watching this video right now, it is because of one of three reasons. Number one, you've already subscribed to my channel. This popped up in your notifications and you were like, heck yes, let's go. If so, hi, welcome back. How have you been since we last chatted? Number two, you stumbled upon this randomly. If so, hi, welcome. How have you been? Or number three, you searched for this video, you have a child that has just been diagnosed as autistic and are hoping that a 23-year-old girl with a flower crown can fix all your problems. If so, hi, welcome. How you been? Welcome, this video is for you. I'll do my best. Before we get started, hi, my name's COLABS. I'm a 23-year-old autistic and ADHD girl from Australia. I make YouTube and TikTok videos about autism, ADHD, mental health and other disabilities, and the occasional crying about One Direction. If that sounds like something you're interested in, subscribe, join our family. Anyway, let's get on to the video. If you're here because your child has received a diagnosis, let's talk. If you are in that third category of people, let me get something straight. An autism diagnosis can be scary. I understand that, I get that. Autism can be portrayed as this massive, terrifying, world-changing thing that can completely crush you. I get that. I know how the media portrays us, and I know how people portray autism. I'm not immune to that. I'm not naive to that. I know how autism is portrayed. In fact, I remember the day that I got my autism diagnosis, and I remember walking out of that doctor's office, and I remember my mum holding this massive handbook and all of these different papers and slips and books, and we got into the car and my mum started crying. I was 12, almost 13 when I got my autism diagnosis, and when you're a 12-year-old and your mum starts crying, you feel like the whole world is ending, because your mum, your parents, the adults in your life are meant to be the strong ones. They're meant to be the ones that understand everything. So when they start crying, you think the world is ending. When they start crying and you know that you're the reason that's making them cry, you feel like the whole world is ending and you're the one that's making it end. It's terrifying, and I understand that it was a scary time for the two of us, but something that my mum learned very quickly, and something that I learned very quickly, is that this diagnosis hasn't changed anything and doesn't change anything. The only thing that it changes is an ability to understand my mind better. I have always been autistic. I will always be autistic. A diagnosis doesn't change that. Now we just have a better understanding of what that means and how it can best support me. And just because we've been taught all of these different things about autism, it doesn't for a second actually mean that they're true, or that we have to give into these fears that these stereotypes and media representations have put inside of us. Instead, as parents, as carers, as guardians, as role models in these kids' lives, it is so important for you to love them and support them unconditionally, regardless of a diagnosis. So, to help with that, here are some things from an autistic person of what you can do to best support your child after a diagnosis. Number one, accept the diagnosis. Your child is autistic. Nothing is going to change that. Yoga, essential oils, veganism, freaking ABA therapy, nothing is going to change the fact that your child is autistic, and nothing should change that. You shouldn't want to try and change that. Your child is going to go through their entire lives being autistic. They can't change that. What we can change is the way that we perceive autism, and I promise you that little detail is going to make the world of difference. The environment that a child grows up in, autistic or not, is going to shape that child's entire life. But as an autistic child who feels and senses everything so deeply on a level that most neurotypical children could never sense, and unfortunately is going to be faced with that discrimination that a neurotypical may not be faced with, it is so crucial for you to be accepting of their diagnosis and of your child wholeheartedly. Autism is not a bad thing. I cannot drill that into your head enough. Autism is not a bad thing. It is not a death sentence. It does not mean that your child is not going to flourish. It does not mean that your child is doomed to a certain mindset, to a certain lifestyle. Your child can flourish more so than a neurotypical child can. Trust me, autism is not a bad thing. It is merely a different operating system. One that, when nurtured, will flourish. Not to be biased, autistic people are among the most bright, incredible, smart, intelligent, emotionally intelligent people on this earth. If you have a look at the top people in any given career, I can guarantee you a very large percent of them are going to be autistic. I get that this can be scary. I get that this may not have been what you chose for your child, but it's the cards that you and your child have been dealt. So play them well, because I promise you that when you choose to play these cards correctly, they're going to be played brilliantly. Number two, listen. But they're nonverbal, oh, but they can't speak yet, is not an excuse. Listening is not just with your ears, it's with your eyes, it's with your heart, it's with your actions. Listen to their sensory needs, understand the differences between meltdowns, which can be physically painful, and tantrums. Listen to their special interests and their hyperfixations and do everything you can to support that. Listen when they're struggling, listen when they're glowing. You can't accept a diagnosis without accepting and loving your child themselves. Number 3. Speak for your child, but don't speak over your child. Every kid needs someone to speak up for them. Every single child needs that person in their lives which they can rely on, which they know has their back no matter what. But there is a fine line between being a mama bear for your child, between being that person for your child that they can rely on and that is going to help them through situations, and speaking over your child and not giving your child a voice. There is nothing more frustrating than when an autistic person sees these autism mamas who have these autism puzzle piece shirts and talk about the cards that they've been dealt and how hard they are, but how they're such a strong person so they can deal with it, and only strong people get autistic children. I get that it's hard. Parenting is hard, but if you cannot deal with an autistic child, you don't deserve to be a parent in the first place. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. Don't put your own story and your own struggles over the top of your child's. I understand that sometimes it can be stressful having an autistic child. I understand that constant meltdowns are hard to deal with, but if you're struggling, imagine how your child feels. Be a voice for your child, but do not take your child's voice. Number 4. Listen to the autistic community for advice. It's only natural for you as a parent to try and find the highest place that you possibly can for support and advice. And naturally, you'd expect to find this sort of support and advice at the foot of professionals, of doctors and psychologists and psychiatrists and autism professionals. But while these people are all well and good and probably have lovely certificates and beautiful bookcases full of all of these different books that showcase what my mind apparently is, you cannot put my mind inside of a textbook. Your child's mind cannot be condensed to a few years of research. Seek out the autistic community. Speak to actually autistic adults who have lived your child's life, because I can guarantee you that genuine lived experience through genuine autistic people is worlds better than any professional resource and textbook is ever going to be, that was also definitely not written by an autistic person anyway. We're so lucky that we live in a world right now where these resources are right at your doorstep. They are right at your computer. They are right at your fingertips. There are so many autistic people out there who are so eager and ready to support and give advice to those who are autistic and those who have family members that are autistic. Do some research, find autistic advocates, find autistic blog posts, find autistic YouTube channels like mine if you would like to stay around, but you know, just as a suggestion. I promise you, the advice that you get from actually autistic people is going to be worlds better than anything you're going to find in those fancy textbooks. Number 5. Focus on your child's strengths. Just as every other single child in the entire universe that has ever existed, every single child, every single person is going to have strengths and weaknesses. The most important thing is to focus on your child's strengths, and I think this might be the most important point out of all of these points in this video, and something that has really, really helped me and has really, really helped other autistic kids that I know. Focus on your child's strengths. They already know that they're struggling. They already know that they're different. They already know that they don't fit in. I can't do math. I can't cook basic meals. I can't drive a car. I can't do some basic ass tasks which most people that are like freaking 12 years old can do. But you know what? I'm a really good public speaker, and I can write incredible music, and I'm really, really good at making YouTube videos, and I'm an amazing horse rider, and I can do all of these incredible things which most people twice my age can't do. If you focus on your child's strengths, you focus on their special interests, you focus on the things that they're good at, I promise you, not only are they going to flourish in that special interest, but they're going to feel confident, they're going to feel brave, they're going to feel like, hey, I can accomplish something. My autism, who I am, is okay, and it's helping me to be this incredible person. On Autism Awareness Day every single year, I post a video showcasing all of these amazing strengths of autistic kids. I have a few videos up now. I'll be linking them in the bio down below, so if you would like to see any examples of the amazing superpowers that autistic people have, check them out. Focus on your child's strengths and make sure that your child is also aware of their strengths. Write them down for them, because I promise, as soon as you start to focus on your strengths instead of your weaknesses, that's when you can begin to thrive. Number 6. Love your child unconditionally. This should be the most basic, unnecessary point, but I've seen some parents who, as soon as they find out that their child has an autism diagnosis, still loves their kid, I'm sure, but doesn't love who they are. And it's the saddest thing in the world, because every child deserves to be loved. Every child deserves to know that who they are is okay. Love your child unconditionally and treat them the same that you would if they didn't have the diagnosis. Treat them with love and treat them with respect and treat them with kindness and treat them with an understanding that who they are is okay. A child cannot learn to love themselves unless the people in their lives are showcasing that love to them too. Number 7. be gentle with yourself and be gentle with your child. There is no wrongs and rights to parenting. There's no instruction book, there's no specifics. I'm saying this as a 23-year-old girl whose biggest responsibility is a blind axolotl. So I don't know if like as soon as you give birth to the thing, they give you a handbook and are like, congratulations, you know everything about parenting. What I'm trying to say is no one is expecting you to be the perfect parent. No one is expecting you to have all of the answers because nobody does. No one is expecting you to change the world with your parenting skills or get it right all the time. But be gentle with yourself and understand that it's okay to get it wrong sometimes. Be gentle with yourself, be gentle with your child, and understand that, you know what, none of us really know what we're doing. Do the best that you possibly can. Love your child, love yourself, respect your child, respect yourself, and the rest will fall into place. Number 8. Find support groups. Find support groups for your kids, find support groups for yourself. Nowadays, there are so many support groups for parents of autistic kids. There are so many support groups for autistic kids themselves. Groups where you as parents can talk about autism, can talk about your experiences, can receive help and support for your child and for yourselves. And groups where autistic kids can meet other like-minded kids. I remember when I was 18, I joined my first autism group and I made my best friends there. And it honestly changed my life and it made me realize there is so many of us out there, and you know what? Maybe I'm an oddball, but so is everyone else, and you know what? That's brilliant. These groups and organizations are popping up everywhere. Do a quick Google search to try and find your closest ones. If there are none in your area, there are multiple Facebook groups. Join them for the meantime, or even better, create your own group. Create your own autism group. You get the ball rolling. Number 9, do not hide a diagnosis. I have so many parents that come up to me and say, when's the right time to tell my child that they're autistic? Do I tell my child they're autistic? Oh, my child doesn't know they're autistic. What the heck? Yes, they do. Your child knows that they're autistic. Even if they don't know the word for it, I can guarantee you that they know that they're different. They know that there's something else funky going on. They might not know the word, but instead of a diagnosis, instead of, oh, I'm autistic, instead they're thinking, I'm weird, I'm strange, I don't fit in, I don't feel like I belong here. They have labels already attached to them, regardless if they have a diagnosis or not. So telling them what their diagnosis is, saying, hey, you're autistic, and you know what? That's awesome. Here are some other people that are involved within your special interests that are also autistic. Here's what that means. Here's how your brain works. And you know what? That's incredible. And number 10, don't try and change your child. Change your mindset. Your child is autistic. Your child has always been autistic. Your child always will be autistic. Nothing can change that. Nothing should change that. Your child is still your baby, regardless of whether they're autistic or not. Show them compassion, show them understanding, and show them kindness. Protect them from the evils of the world, but don't hide them from it. Teach them to love and to be loved. Teach them to be respectful and to be respected. Teach them of all that they are. And remember yourself and teach them that who they are is exactly who they're supposed to be. They don't need to change. It's the world that does. It's the mindsets that do. Your autistic child is perfect exactly as they are, and nothing should ever change that. Nothing should ever make them feel any different. It's not the child that needs to change, it's the world and it's the mindset, and you as their parent has the ability to do that. If you guys have any other questions, please let me know. I would love to make another video about this. I can bring my own mum in and get her to answer some of you guys' questions as well. But overall, understand that your child was created exactly as they're meant to be, and nothing should ever make them feel otherwise. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys did like this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I don't mind. Do what makes you feel good. Do what makes you feel happy. Make sure you guys are staying safe. Make sure you guys are staying hydrated. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.
Just be